Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we are once again, hanging out in a savage corner. Yes, we are. Another day, another dollar. My fellow simpletons and degenerates, how y'all doing on this wonderful September 23, Tuesday, 2025, hanging out in the savage corner, looking at this market and how crazy it's acting. It just won't make up its mind. We have short days that red days and green days. We have some red days that turn into green. Then we have some green days that turn into red. Then we have some, green days when we're supposed to have some red days because we get bad news, and then we got some red days when we get good news. What the heck is going on? How do we make sense of this? More importantly, how do we make money? Well, this is why we're here. We are going live. Open door is getting hit, and some people are jumping ship, getting scared. A lot of volume today to the downside, so there's pressure. We are we're not intimidated by red days. We're not intimidated by green days and get caught flat-footed, not knowing what to do. We know what to do. We make money, my friends. Good morning. It is I, the Savage of Wall Street, once again. Game stonk, baby. We are not going anywhere. I see that GME, closed above 27. It's at 27 this morning. It's trying to go and work its way to 28, and they started hitting it. They're afraid, guys. They're afraid right now. GME is on a bull run. Remember how we were, $23 not too long ago, $22. Then we closed at 23, 24, 25, 26. And this is not like it's taken months to do this. It's been like weeks. We're squeezing, my friends, once again. Squeezes don't just happen where you go from, 20 to 100 in a day. That's just not how it works. Okay, that's kind of like when you capitulate in a way. But the squeeze begins a lot earlier than that, right? When it's really starting to squeeze and then it pops, okay? Most people think the pop is the squeeze, but really the squeeze begins a lot earlier. I've been telling you guys I'm into GME. I have, a few thousand shares, and I have not written anything on them. I'm leaving them alone. This morning I could have written some 30s for January, expiring in January. And when I say I've written some, I mean some covered calls. I could have written some covered calls on my stock. I could have brought in easily $3 or around $3 a share. So, $30 strike, get $3 in profit for my contracts. I didn't do that. I see that we're actually on our way to maybe $35, $40. So we'll see what happens. I may be wrong, but it's just not like we haven't been here before, right? At this point, I'm very, very curious to see what happens closer to October 3rd. The shorters are starting to get a little angsty, and they got to cover. They got to cover. They got caught, and they're in a position where they're going to have to account for these warrants, right? And there's only 400 million and change, 450 million shares in existence. So we're going to have to come up with 45 million warrants, right? That's kind of what we're expecting. So if we have a lot more than that, it's going to get tricky. There's going to set off a lot of alarms, and if we don't have enough, it's going to get tricky. There's going to be a lot of investigations. So I'm excited to see what happens. In the meantime, I'm kind of just holding on to the stock, seeing what happens. It goes to 35, 40. Then I'm going to think about maybe selling some covered calls, but not on everything. Maybe a couple of covered calls, seeing how they react. If it keeps going up, sell some more covered calls. If it keeps going up, then sell a few more covered calls. But never selling covered calls on my whole position, just because I'm very curious to see if we hit $100 a share. I'm not saying that it will. This is not financial advice. If you are holding GME, by all means, you see a profit taking opportunity, take it. This is um, my own personal journey here. All right. What do we got here? Who we have in the house? Always be writing us in the house saying good morning. Tom Kaufman saying hey Savage. B Tram in the house saying good morning. Ricardo Canales is in the house. Good morning, says Hector. Chase Rosita Parker is in the house. Kilua, what up, my man? Mike Egubazal is in the house. SJ is in the house saying, hola, Savage. Hola, my friend. Kilua saying, sold some January 2027, $40 puts for $14.35. That was I, folks. $40 puts January 2027, but you're not telling me the stock. I'm going to guess that's SoFi. I'm going to guess that's SoFi. In which case, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. If you would have gotten closer to 1920 for 2028, even better. But again, free money. It's a cash grab. I get it. Totally cool. I back that trade 100%. Boom, Savage approved. I need to get a stamp. I need to get a stamp that says Savage, so I can just be like, boom, Savage approved. Send it in, coming in hot. So that's what's going on, my friends. I see that Open Doors taking them to the chin a bit today, and like I told you guys, I put my money where my mouth is. I sold some $7 cash secure puts. I brought in 160 and 165 for those. So I have $5 covered calls expiring January out on Open. I have like 40 of them, I think, 40 or 60. And so just waiting at this point for them to do whatever it is that they want to do. So now, if I bring in $1.60 to $2 for the $7 cash secure puts, that means what? Well, that means that I'm choking that strike, right? I'm at $7. Realistically, I brought in like a little over $2 for every contract that I sold when I sold for $5 cover calls, right? And I'm getting $2 to sell $7 cash, well, close to $2 cash secure puts, right? So that realistically is giving me the stock at like 540, right? So like I'm right there, right? And so the stock can do whatever it wants. If it rips back to 10, 12, 13, $15, guess what? I buy back these cash secure puts for like a 60%, 70% profit. And if we go down some more, I'm gonna buy back the $5 cover calls because those are like a month less now. So, but the premium is dropped significantly, right? Guess what? I can roll. I can roll from January to February or June and then bring in more cash, just daring them, and I may keep it at $5. I may go down to $4. We'll see what happens. But I'm making money at this point. I'm just bringing in the dollars. All right, I'm bringing in the dollars and I'm making money and I'm putting that money to work because guess what? I went in again and I did some more cash secure puts on UBT today, and I did some more cash secure puts on RXRX. I did some more cash secure puts on BMNR, and I brought in some cash. I used that cash to buy 100 more BMNR. Very bullish on it, my friends. I'm looking at what else do we have here. ASST is down 14-15%, totally okay. Because my $5 cash secure puts brought me in 365, I think on average, or 355 on average, something like that. So until 145, 155, I'm good to go. I'm not even sweating it. BBAI, my friends. BBAI, if you sold $10 covered calls expiring December or November, and you brought in over $1 for those, kudos to you, my friends. You're bringing money. Remember when I was telling you guys, $7 cash secure puts expiring 2027? Guys, not a terrible deal. right? Remember when I was banging the table and saying, guys, those $7 cash secure puts, BBI was like at $5, and people were like, really? But the stock's at 5. Yes, it is at 5, but it didn't belong there. Those $7 cash secure puts are now going. You could have brought in 375, 385 cash secure puts at a time when BBAI was like a 4 something. Those were going for 375, 385, right? You put $7 up, you bring in more than 350. That's over 50% return on investment. Guess what? Those are going for 278 right now. Some people actually paid 273 for those cash secure puts today. Meaning, if you brought 375 a couple of weeks ago, 375 for those cash secure puts expiring in 2027, right? You could have bought them back for 275 today, making $1 per contract. If you did 10 of those, you just made $1,000 like that. And guess what? You took no risk because you knew the stock was getting hit big time. It was down dramatically, and it was just a time. If you look at how it was behaving, it was consolidating, right? So now it's on its way up again. It's at $7. It's at $8 a share. It went from 5 to 8 because that's just how much it was getting held down. It consolidated real quick. It stayed there a bit. It came down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and it just shot right up. Okay. Those $7 cash secure puts are out of the money now. They're way out of the money. And guess what? You don't even have to buy them back right now if you don't want to. You could take money off the table if you wanted to, but you don't have to do anything. You could wait until January, okay, and see what happens. And then maybe by then, instead of being at 25%, 26, 27%, you'll be at 35, 40%. Merry Christmas to you, my friend. You took a chance. You saw where the opportunity was. Kudos, my friend. You're going to have a Merry Christmas. That's how we do. That's how money is made. That's how we do it, baby. Ray Sherlock saying, Savage, what's up? My SoFi cash secure puts January 27, $25 strike hardly moved an inch yesterday on a green day. I'm sitting at 30% unrealized. Time to roll? No, do nothing. Wait for earnings. Wait for earnings. I believe that we're probably this SoFi is gonna maybe go down a bit because it always happens. This always happens, but it doesn't mean it'll happen again. However, SoFi is going to show good numbers. SoFi is going to have a great quarterly earnings call. The guidance is where we don't know, but I think that I think people are going to not be spending as much this year, and I think they're going to save a little more money than they have previously, right? So what do I expect? I expect good numbers. I expect earnings per share to get better, and I expect SoFi to trade around $30 to $35 a share by December, which is why I'm telling you guys, if you did $30 cash secure puts out to December earlier on SoFi, was free money. Now I'm pretty much begging guys, in people to write $40 cash secure puts expiring 2028, because you could bring in close to $20 a share. That's 50% return on investment on any weakness for SoFi. You come in and you bring your money in. You bring money in. That's what you do. Do you roll? I mean, you're sitting in January 2027 already. I give it time, my friend. Give it time. Once we get into January 2026, those are going to drop kind of quickly because you're not 2 years away. You're a year away, really. And we still have room to the upside. If you can swing it, why don't you leave those alone and do some $40 cash secure puts out to 2028 and then get paid that route, right? So that by the time that you're not just waiting, so to speak, right? Like the stock is going to appreciate, right? And as the stock appreciates, your puts are here. So let's say the 2027 puts are here, 2028 puts are like down here, and then they'll move up like this kind of together, right? So like the lower lows are going to be higher, so to speak, right? The lows are going to be higher. And so those puts are going to decrease. Now, if you're saying that you want to take your money off the table, I see nothing wrong with taking money off the table, Ray. I mean, if you're happy with this and you say, you know what, I've made my peace with those strikes. I didn't see them move much. I mean, they're not going to move much in a day, right? Unless there was like a wild swing. But you can't be looking at something daily when it's out, a year and a half out. Um, Unless like a ridiculously wild swing happens of like 30, 40%. So, but month to month, you see the change. Uh, I think in October you make, that 30% maybe become 33, 34, right? So, but it's all up to you, quite honestly. If you feel confident that, hey, look, I took 30% off the top, I'm happy with that money. I'm gonna do $40 cash secure puts now, and I'm gonna go to 2028. Totally okay as well. If you can, if that's what you want to do. Nobody ever got hurt taking money off the table, right? Like, there's these could give you a little more, but 30% unrealized. I don't know when you sold those, Ray, but if you sold them a month ago and you already made 30%, I think that's great. Take profit and then roll to like 35s or 40s in 2028 and bring in more money. There's nothing wrong with that either. You could do so many. There's so many ways you can go about this, right? It depends one on your capital, right? Do you have the capital available to like leave these alone and then and do 40s, or if you just want to breathe a bit and take the money off the table, you can do that as well. Totally can do that. I see no problem. Either way, you're okay. Either way, you're making money, right? So either you take if you take 30% or you take 50%. It's all up to you. Yeah, as long as you're making money, that's what I care about, my friend. And you're making money, and that's a good thing. These are good problems to have, right? Like these are like Savage. I'm 40% underwater, and I'm about to get called on these puts. Like what do I do? Like that's a whole different conversation than this right here. Although I see no problem with being 40% underwater on your cash secure puts because you could always roll ahead, and keep it at the same strike or roll ahead even more and then go one below the strike, bring in some premium and then bring in some collateral, So that's a great problem to have too. You can't get caught off guard and you know, um, you can't react on feelings. Like it's just you just got to look at it even headed, right, and clear headed, and say this is just another trade. So, but yeah, you're making money, dude. I like it. However you want to swing it, that's all up to you. But again, there's no you made 30% unrealized. That's great. You can definitely cash out right now and then do 40s. I see no problem with that at all. You're making money, man. It's just nobody's ever gonna get hurt taking money off the table. You'll not regret that decision. Um, Karen D saying hi. Roaring Yiddy is in the house saying YOLO. Do not YOLO, guys. Ken's mom is in the house saying I'm here. We shall proceed because you're here, Ken's mom. CKT saying what's up? CKT making money. JJ's in the house saying Rugman speaks in 45 minutes. I know. I'm very excited to see what this guy says. Wing Commander, what up? Savage, what up, Wing? Karen D saying I have some GME 30s and $32 cash secure puts for January 2026 and 2027. Should I keep folding my arms? Yes, you should. Yes, you should. Keep making money. I see the shares are going to keep going up, man. The shares are going to keep going up, just based on the warrants alone. These guys have no idea. They think they're going to be able to generate some synthetic warrants. You just can't. You just can't. You start generating synthetic warrants, it's a fucking wrap. It's not going to happen. That's why they were like, oh, well, what do we give you cash for that? No. You want warrants. And it's going to be a big stink, man. Even Robinhood said they're going to give warrants, for a reason. They don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Whoever shorted this stock, look, we're supposed to have what? 60, 70 million short or something like that, right? 60 million short. It's just the numbers they're telling us. Like dark pool shorting, option shorting. I mean, they shorted a lot more than that. Some numbers, I give it as 1 billion. They shorted a billion. Like, I don't understand how that's a possible math. There's only 460 of 150 million shares in existence, and they shorted a billion shares. Like, it's gonna get so ugly. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hear these motherfuckers come up with excuses. They're gonna have congressional hearings. It's gonna be lovely. But anyways, I'm here for it. Gang stuck, baby. I can't wait for the shares to hit $40, $50 a share, and then the warrants are gonna be in the money. They're good till 32, but at 32, they're in the money. Once we go up to like, $45, $50 a share, think options. What happens to your options when they're in the money and they go up above the strike that you chose, the strike price, right? They're gonna go up massively. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if some people hold their share or their warrants until they're like, $50 a share, a warrant. And then they use that money to buy another share. It's gonna get so fucking ugly because then that person's gonna be they're gonna be good for another warrant. This is not the end, man. I think RC is finally giving the people what they've always wanted, and is power to the people. People got screwed, man. GME shareholders got screwed, and he knows it, and he's saying, "Fuck it." He's gonna, in a year or two, I think he may come up with some more warrants, and he's gonna create another squeeze. This is gonna be a never-ending, beautiful, infinite cycle. It's gonna be wonderful. Anyways, I'm happy. And this is obviously this is not financial advice, guys. This is just me using available data to make my own dumb what if, right? Like nobody knows what the stock market's gonna do, right? Like I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen today. Like fucking Jerome Powell is talking in another 45 minutes. I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, what do I know? I know that GME, I know that GME is gonna give warrants on October the 3rd, my friends. I know Big Bear is $7.98 a share. I know that GME is $26.73 a share today, right at this moment, and it was $27.11 earlier on. And I'm here for it, good water. Karen D saying hi all. Roaring Yiddy saying YOLO. Nan's mom saying I'm here. CKT's in the house. JJ saying Roman speaks in 45 minutes. Win Commanders here. Karen D saying I have some GME 30. Yeah, you're good with those puts, brother. Double D saying good morning. JJ, nobody ever lost money taking profit. That's right. Nobody ever got hurt taking profit, man. So if you feel like taking money off the table, brother, I don't fault you. I will not shame you. Take money off the table and be like what was that character, the Dave Chappelle character, the one with the crown, Tron, and I think he's playing craps, or no, he's playing dominoes or poker. And then he's like, "Yeah, baby, that's my money." And he takes like all the table off of the all the cash over the table. He's just holding it like that. Like nobody's ever gonna get hurt doing that, man. Not at all. All right, so like I said, I'm not doing anything with GME. I'm just letting it ride. I have no covered calls against them. I bought back the covered calls before earnings, and I made a little bit of cash. And right now, always be riding applies to everything except GME for me. That rhymes, and I like it. I like GME, but the options are difficult to get filled because the spreads are so wide. This is what you do covered. This is why you do stinkers, man. This is why you do stinkers, and you hold your nose up high like this, and you say, if you don't hit my strike, albeit, so be it. Oh well, don't care. Charlie C2 is in the house. GameStop is getting hit a little bit, and I love it. They're desperate. Archer is up. Archer Aviation, ACHR, is up 6.3% right now. Wonderful. This is when we start looking at covered calls, my friends. And November 21st, let's see, we are $10. Selling a $12 covered call brings you in 90 cents right now. 90 cents, so $90. You could either put $1 stinker in there, see if you get filled, or you could go and say, you know what? I have 1,000 shares. I'm going to sell 10 of these covered calls and bring in $90 times 10. That's $900 before November 21st, because that's going to be the money I'm going to use for the Thanksgiving dinner. Thank you very much, gamblers. And guess what? The stock is at $10. If you sell at 12 and you sell 10 contracts, basically you're going to get another $2,000. That's what you're basically banking on. And you're thumbing up, holding up your nose, thumbing, what do they call thumbing your nose and saying, take me out at $1. And so you could go make $900 right now, or you can make $1,000. It's all up to you. However you want to swing it, it's all up to you. But this is the number that we look for, right? We start at 5% when we have a stock of ours run at least 5%. We start looking at positions. We start looking at opportunity. We start looking at where are we going to go with this. We start making a plan, right? And if you're one of those people that you have fucking the attention span of a squirrel, write it down. I know I have a fucking short ass attention span. So I write down strikes and dates, and I'm like I write down the security, right? I write down what I'm looking at, right? The strikes, and then I look up different strike zones, and in profit, right? I'm like, okay, this is $1, this is $1.20. So then I'm looking at, then it you think averages, right? You think percentages, and you're like, this would make me 10% of what the stock is at right now. This would be 15%, and this is a month and a half out, 2 months out. I'm okay bringing in 15%, 6 times a year. 2 months out, that's 6 times a year. So that's 90% returns on average, right? For a year. If you do 15% 6 times, what bank is going to give you that? No bank is going to give you that. So just something to think about, my friends. All right, what do we do? SMCI is up. It was up nicely earlier on, like 2%. It's down a bit now. It's like at 1%. Sentinel One, man, guys, it ran up and then it's back down, and I just love it. I love Sentinel One. You guys know that it's not the sexiest when it comes to premiums, but it's such a great company. I mean, honestly, every time I read about Sentinel One, every time I just I see something in the news, they just keep doing everything right, So it's at 1896 right now. $19 cash secure puts on it expiring November bring you 120 right now. Essentially, you're buying it where it is, and you're getting paid $120 to do so in November. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? If you want to even, if you say, look, Savage, I like it, but it's $18.96. I don't like that. How about I pay at $18? How about I go to $18, and I would feel more comfortable paying $18 a share, and I would say that's fine. You could bring in 75 cents per share right now. That's in 100. That's $75. So you would get paid $75 to buy 100 shares November 21st at $18. And if it's not at $18, if it's at $19 on that date, guess what? You get your $1,800 back. And then you keep the $75. And if it's at $19 still, you can sell another $18 cash secure put out to January, and then bring in another 75 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents, whatever the stock wants to charge that day, right? And you could acquire the shares that way. Okay, you don't have to hold stock to make money. You can do that with collateral. Your cash is your collateral. Basically, what you're saying is, I am going to thumb my nose at the price you're paying right now, sir, because I'm here to make money, and I'm going to make some fucking money. So please pay me this. This is my bid. This is my ask, and it's a stink ask. I understand it's 10% more than where it's at right now, but that's what I want. And guess what? Maybe during the day, the stock falls a little more, and you get filled. There it is. So don't be afraid to stink ask, my friends. TerraWolf was up a little bit this morning to 3%. It's down 1% now. So TerraWolf, they have a contract with Nvidia, man. I anywhere under 15, I think it's a steal. but there could be room to the downside. So go to November 21st, sell a put, $11 put, an $11 cash secure put, um, expiring November 21st brings you $142 right now. You know, ask for 142, see if you get filled. You know, fuck it, go to 145. You know, dare it to come down some more. You know, you could do 150. Oh, they just moved to 151. Look at that. So you do the 150, and then you get paid at $150 to buy TeraWulf at $11. Essentially, you're buying it for $950. I see no problem with that at all. I see no problem with that at all. So let's see here. What do we got? BMNR. BMNR is it's filling at this point, right? It was at 60 something. I think Friday was definitely like at 66, 65, I think. Let's see. It was really like no, $62. So it's sitting at 55 because they decided they're gonna raise some cash. So they're selling some options. Basically, that's what they're doing. They're selling covered calls, $70 covered calls, and the market is saying, "Oh my God, dilution," because they're thinking too much, right? They're like, "Oh my God, these guys are gonna create." No, that's not what they're doing. Whatever you think they're doing, unless you think calls, that's what they're doing. All right. If you're familiar with calls, covered calls, what they're essentially doing is Tom Lee said, I'm going to raise $350 million. What am I doing? The stock is at 60. So we're going to use, Friday's closing as a benchmark. And I'm going to raise some cash. So essentially, Kathy Wood, if you want my company, I will sell it to you for $70 a share, right? In the future, give me some money. Right, and he's going to use that money to buy some Ethereum because they want to own 5% of Ethereum. That's what they're trying to do, right? And so they're going to become a treasury. This takes money. They're trying to raise capital. What they're not creating any more shares. What they're doing is they're selling the shares at a higher strike than what it is at now in the future. Those are covered calls, my friends. So that's all it is. And the stock went down because people say, "Oh my God, dilution." Fine, I'll fall on that sword. I sold some cash secure puts, some $55 cash secure puts, out to expire in November, and I brought in like $1,100, $1,200. Well, like 1130, 1130, 1130, and 1080. Those are the strike zones where I sold cash secure puts, and I brought in cash, and then I use that cash, right, to go at market price and buy the shares. So now I owned 200 shares of BMNR, and all of that money has been raised through cash secure puts. Thank you very much. Okay, best case scenario for me actually is the stock is at $50 in November, and I get all those shares. Right, I have like 8 cash secure puts, so I'll have 800 shares. But remember, I sold cash secure puts and I took that money to buy the stock, right? So I have 200 shares right now. So I have 800 and 200. That's 1,000 shares, right? That's the best case scenario for me, is having 1,000 shares, right? Some would say the worst case scenario, right? Because you don't want to get put those shares. I actually do. And it's in my strike price is in the 45s, right? That's like the break even. So I'm essentially buying a stock that I know is going to be worth a lot more for $45, and I got paid to do so. What? And then what if best case scenario for some would be that November, comes around and those shares are $60 a share, and then I get my money back, all of it. But guess what? I have 200 shares to account for that, to show for that. So free shares. Free shares, my friends. That's what it is. And then they'll do it again. As soon as the market shows weakness, BNMR shows weakness again, and it goes down 5-10% on a day, I'm selling some more cash secure puts. Trying to get to 1,000. That's the rumor. Open. Look at that. Open Door is now recovered. It's close to 8%, $8 a share, close to it. It was down like 15 percent today. It was down to like 13 or 15%, and now it's down only 4.9%. There it is. My $7 cash secure puts are safe, my friends. Are safe. I got 165 for them, and they are now 147. That's how you do it. And now I'm gonna dare the market to take me out. And in 3 weeks, these are probably gonna be 47 cents. If Open Door runs up to 10, 12 again, these are absolutely worthless. I'm gonna buy them back at an 80% profit. And then I'll wait for the stock to do whatever it's gonna do and dare the market to take me out. This is how we do it, my friends. This is how we do it. This is what I love. This is why I absolutely love when stocks that I'm looking at, nothing has changed and there's a 15, 20% drop for whatever reasons. As long as it's not shenanigans that the CEO is in some hot water because of insider trading, any of that shit, right? I love hit pieces. I love hit pieces. When a hit piece comes out and the stock, gets, the company's getting sued for something by some ridiculous, dumb lawyer somewhere. I love it because a lot of people get scared of that and then they sell. And then the stock goes down and I go in through cash secure puts. I bring in a lot of premium and then I'm daring the market to give me those shares. All right, let's see here. RZLV is up 10% today. Let's go, is saying Charlie C2. Yeah, I know. I saw that, and it's one of we got on the watch list now, Charlie. Thanks to you. And then we're going to keep an eye on it, man. Let's see what it does. Let's see how it behaves. Let's see how it behaves, my friend. CKT saying have January 26, $10 cash secure puts, 10 of them ACHR that are sitting pretty today, folding arms. That's how we do it, my friend. We fold arms. Sometimes this is the hardest thing to do. This right here, this is the hardest thing to do because, something's always happening in the stock market, right? And your initial reaction is to just do something. The stock market's up, I got to do something. Stock market's down, I got to do something. And sometimes you just don't have the capital, or sometimes there's just no entry, right? It's like you're just there. Like your cash secure puts are making 10%, but they're still far enough to where like it's really, and then your covered calls are like at 4, generating 4%, 5%, and you're like, so like the hardest thing to do is nothing. So it's you got to come into grips with that, and you have to find something else. You got to learn how to fucking crochet or something. Put on a movie. I don't know. I have 3 kids. They're a smaller kid. They're 4, 6, and 4, 6, and 11. And so I do randomly some. I just take them out walking. We go on a little trail around here, and we go hiking. Or like I'll just I have an inflatable castle, and I'll put it out back, and I'll inflate it, right, and then they'll just jump for like an hour, and I'll have them sweat and go nuts, and then like wear them out so that tonight they just pass out. Or I'll take them to Spirit Halloween. During Halloween time, there's a Spirit Halloween by the house, and they'll go nuts. They'll look at all the animatronics. I get to scare the shit out of them. It's kind of cool. Or like I'll just go downstairs and cook. I find ways to be busy. I love to cook. My mother was a chef growing up, and so I learned how to prep early on. And so like my thing is, it actually calms me down to cook. Like I'll just go and I cook fucking anything really. I'll cook Mediterranean food, Spaniard food, Mexican food, Southern American food. I make some great Italian food. I'll go in and dabble with East Asian food. I cook some Indian food, some really good Indian food. I make pizza. I make some awesome pizza, guys. I do anything, man. I'll find ways to stay busy. I love making Chinese food because the flavors, depends on where in China the dish comes from. But they just like even within China, I mean, there's such a vast variety of different flavors within like even provinces. So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, so find some shit to do. Learn to speak another language. Duolingo is awesome. You know, je parle français. I speak Spanish. Hablo español muy bien. Obviously, I speak English, but you know, fucking teach yourself another language, man. Like, you know, if you're playing in the stock market, you got an hour to kill or two. You know, go into fucking Duolingo and learn how to speak Spanish. Learn how to speak, you know, Mandarin, fucking Russian, French. You know, what's your flavor, my friend? All right, let's see here. Hector saying, Savage, is your back returning to normal? Yes, it is. Well, it feels like it at least. Thank you for asking. I just keep stretching. You know, I went to the chiropractor a few times and the motherfucker actually hurt me. I don't know. He was doing something completely different. Like my back is the one that's hurting and he's over here, you know, pulling my legs, spatchcocking me like a fucking, like a chicken. You guys know how to spatchcock a chicken? And how you break the breast and then you gotta squeeze the legs out like this to give it, like, you know, this nice little look when you flip it, and then you put all these spices on it and you roast it, yeah. So that's what he did, man. He went like this to my thighs, you know, and like my pelvis fucking cracked and it just hurt so much I couldn't walk for like a few days. And I told him, dude, I don't know what you did, but that shit sucked. You spatchcocked me. He said, what is that? And I showed him what it is. He started laughing. And I was like, yeah, it's not a laughing matter to me, man, because it was really hard to. So he's over there trying to, you know, kind of pushing all these pressure points and like saying, this is what you gotta do, this is what you gotta do. And like, you know, he's like, you're getting old, blah, blah, blah. It's like, motherfucker, no, you just hurt me. That's what happened. Like, there's nothing to do with my lower back. It has nothing to do with my sciatica. You know, like, I don't know what the fuck you did, but that wasn't there. So then he spends 2 sessions like trying to fix that. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to my back? You're still getting paid, and my back is still this. Anyways, so I fucking fired the guy. I didn't fire him. I just stopped going. And I went to my physical therapist. I had a great physical therapist. We were making some inroads. And then if you guys follow me, you guys know, like, I got hurt at work like a month and a half ago. And it was like an issue, a lower back issue. And then it seemed like I had messed up nerves. So like my sciatica was acting up. And I'd never had a sciatica issue. So, and then I ended up at some point within the first week of me getting injured, which is the worst, I couldn't even sleep. So they gave me some muscle relaxers. So I took a muscle relaxer at 9 p.m. When I had set my alarm to take it at 11:30, close to midnight. And then I passed out because I took it at 9 because my pain was unbearable. And I had not slept for 2 days and I passed out. Then the alarm goes off and I wake up hella groggy, right? And then I take another muscle relaxer. And then I realized, shit, I took another muscle relaxer and I just took it 2 hours ago. And I started reading that, you know, it was a 15 milligrams of, I forgot the name, but like if you take more than 20 milligrams in a day, you could have a heart attack. So I made myself throw up. And so I did the finger in the throat, and oh my god, it was terrible. And because I had a sciatic issue, right? A sciatica issue and right at my lower back, and I tensed all my muscles to vomit. I projectile fucking vomited, and I saw it. I vomited out that one little pill, but I hurt myself so badly, and so, you know, I was kind of starting to get okay a little bit, and then I just went backwards. So like I lost like a week and a half of PT because of that. So it took a little longer, and then the doctor sent me for MRI. So I still to go. Actually, tomorrow I go for an MRI. But just the physical therapy is helping. You know, I do my exercises. I do stretching. I'm doing a lot more walking now. I couldn't walk at first. Like after like a couple of minutes, I would really feel like behind my knee, like this pressure, and then like this really weird, like stress behind my left knee, and it was my sciatica. But now it seems like I'm getting better. So yeah, we're positive there. Hopefully, I'll get back to work in a couple of weeks. That's the goal, you know. So we'll see what happens, man. But thank you for asking, um, Hector. I appreciate it. Juan Velasquez is in the house saying, "Savage greetings from Marbella, my friend. This is just beautiful. Having a great time and loading up on NMR. And I think as he's doing NMNR. What is that? I think he's saying BMNR. I think that's what he's saying. Returning next month to Sacramento. Hey, Juan, have a great time in Spain, man. Good job. Guys, this is how you do it, by the way. This guy sold a shitload of cash secure puts and covered calls right before he left to Spain. So he's already financed his trip, just so you guys know. This guy right here just financed his trip. So right now, he could do anything in Spain. He could go to a nice restaurant, a couple of them. He could drink as much wine as he wants. He could just hang out with the family. And guess what? No stress over how much he pays because he's already made thousands of dollars before he left. It's how you do it, my friends. And the beautiful part of this is right now, I think right now it's closer to like 4 or 5 p.m. in Spain, if I'm not mistaken. So he's close to dinner time. Actually, dinner time is like at 9 p.m. But he's close to like a merienda, which is kind of like an appetizer. He could go to any spot and have a beer and tapas. But the point is that he could literally have beer and tapas right now and trade. And there's no problem with that at all. All he needs is good internet connection. Look, he's saying what's up from Spain, and I love it. I love to see people from this channel making money, and I love to even more to read stories that someone is on vacation at the beach or somewhere, hanging out with family and like trading and making money. That's how you do this, man. This is something we can do for life. It really, really is. But you just have to take that step, and it's not something that you're gonna learn like in a week, in 2 weeks. It's not a get rich quick scheme. I'm not gonna sell you some courses, man. That's not who I am. But we're here. You have a cool community of very like-minded people that come in, and we all trade, and we all talk about our trades, and everybody says, "Hey, look, guys, have you guys seen this stock? Have you guys seen this company? Look at it." And then I obviously will tell you about my Savage 20, and you guys can feel free to look them up and follow my trades. I'll tell you about my trades, and we can all make money together, man. That's what it's about. So I love to see that. So Juan, please keep having a great time. Chill with the fam. Don't worry about coming to Sacramento, bro. Just hang out there. Mr. Treek Woodcraft said something, but then he deleted it. Charlie C2 saying, I think I might buy a $55 call out to January 2027 on BMNR. Lots of time, cost around 30. So this is the deal with calls, man. And this is not me telling you what to do with your money, right? But like, you're spending $30, right? Okay, I see that. I mean, I see why, right? But what if you sold a $55 call and you got $10 for it? So you're now at 45 instead of 30. So that's an extra $1,500. But now time is your friend instead of your enemy. You see what I'm saying? Because if you buy a call, right, we don't know what BMNR is going to do, right? But it could go up. It could also stay doing nothing. It could do nothing. And this is exactly why you want the clock to be your friend. And the way to make it your bitch is through cash secure puts and covered calls. This is when the clock is your ally. If you're willing to spend $30 to kind of have access to 100 shares in a way, why don't you do it through a cash secure put? Because worst case scenario, let's say that BMNR goes to $45, $50 in the next month or two. We don't know what's going to happen, but what if it does, right? You just lost time. You just lost a month or two, and then you're going to lose value on that contract. As opposed to if you did a cash secure put for 55, you got $10 or $11 back. You're essentially now on the hook for $45, $44, right? But now the clock is your friend. And say, for example, you get those shares. The stock is at $46, $47 in November, right? And you get placed those shares into your account. Now you own the shares at $45, $44. Instead of maybe seeing what happened until 2027, and you spend $30, $3,000. Now you own the shares for $44, $45. So an extra $15 just gave you access to 100 shares of BMNR. Now you have 100 shares. You don't have to worry about the clock ever. Ever. These motherfuckers are yours for life. And if it so happens to run to $100 a share, you could do covered calls. You can't do covered calls on that call that you bought unless it goes above 80, 85. That's where it would make sense. It would become a poor man's covered call. But at that time, it makes no sense because then the clock is your enemy, and now it's twice your enemy. Because as that covered call, the poor man covered call loses value, so does the long call. The short loses and the long loses, right? And then you have to go again and then again, and it's like next thing you know, you have to roll, and it's like you spend another $10 to roll, so now you're out $40 when you could have just spent 45 and bought 100 shares. So just something to think about, and look at it from another perspective. Like, you're basically making the clock your enemy for $30, spending $3,000, or you can make the clock your friend and spend 45. That's an extra $1,500. I'm sure it won't make or break your bank. And you would have access to 100 shares. And what if nothing? What if the stock is 55, 56, 57, $60 in November, right? Well, then you get your $4,500. Sorry, $5,500 back, and you keep the 1,000. If you just kept the call, and and let's say that in order for you to make $1,000, that call has to go up to from what the stock is like 57 right now, 56. You have to go to like 67, $68, right? Maybe for you to generate that same money, maybe 73, I don't know, $72. But it's just a lot less likely than if you could just go through a cash secure put. You have a month and a half that's going to close really quickly, and then you could own the shares or make $1,000. And then let's say you still want the shares, then you could do another cash secure put and bring in another $1,000 or more, and then just go that route. I don't know. Let's see here. Roy Judy saying LOL, spatchcock. Spatchcock. Roy, see, you say you have injury. You need to be careful with manual adjustments. That Kyra should known better. That Kyra should have known better, Roaring. I agree. Cindy B's in the house saying, "Hey, Savage, Roaring, we might have to go on a medical holiday next month for a few weeks for a surgery, and I'm hoping to use cash puts to pay for it. That would not be a bad thing, Roaring. Not a bad thing at all, man. And the better see, this is a great thing about fucking being in the stock market. Is like I was injured really bad, and what do they tell you to do when you're injured? Sit down or lie down, right? And I was trading while I was sitting down, literally like icing my ass or warming my ass. Like I had this thing that was giving me some heat in the back, in the butt when I was sitting down here, or sometimes I'd be in bed trading. You could do that from your bed. You know what I'm saying? You could. I don't know, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. So, Roaring, we're here for you, man. So let us just know. But again, if you want to make some good cash on cash secure puts, just ask away, and we're here for you. James from the trees, ahoy! Look at 16. He said I was on the wrong account. ASTS is up 15% today. ASTS is 15% today. You guys remember when I was telling you, hey guys, ASTS is $37. Don't be scared. This is a great company, very well ran. They're making money. They can't keep fucking building fucking rockets fast enough, right? Do $40 cash secure puts, $45 cash secure puts out to like 2027. Not a terrible thing, guys. Could have brought in $12 a share. Could have been $13 a share. I sold $50 cash secure puts out to March and June, and then it went down, and I averaged down on those. I did some more, and then instead of, I think I got 14, 15 for them at first, and then I was getting 18, $19. So I averaged down. Those are beautiful today, and I'm just letting them ride because I have conviction, and I'm probably gonna get back a lot more money as this stock goes up to 60s and 70s. So we'll see what happens, but I'm literally daring the market to place those shares in my account. I want those shares. Not enough buying power for the $55 cash secure put, but I see your point, Savage, as Charlie C2. Then just cross your arms. There's no big deal. Don't feel like you have to go into like a trade just because people are saying it's a cool trade or I'm talking about it. I mean, dude, look, it's gonna be here. The stock's going nowhere. If you don't have enough money for it, it's all good, man. Look, why don't you see if you can move around some of the positions you're in right now? Like if you've already made 40% or 50% of some cash secure put, right? That's me. Can you guys hear me? Commander saying I have to catch up later, kids. James of the Trees. I have ASTS $45 cash secure puts for January sitting at 30%. I gotta let it cook. I mean, yeah, that's not bad at all. $45 cash you can put at 30%. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, James. Let's see here. Warren Yuri saying I dipped my toe in smart rent because the CEO bought a bunch last week. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Roaring. Smart rent. If the CEO is buying, if the CEO is buying shares of a company that you're looking at, that is a very bullish move. And if the CEO is buying, why shouldn't you be buying? Right? I actually sold some smart rent today. I sold like a 30% of my overall position because I was trying to. I'm already up like 70% on it. So it's not that I'm taking all money off the table. Is I wanted some other stock, and I figured if I go in and make money via cash secure put, then I take that cash secure put and buy back into smart rent. And then guess what? Smart rent went down a little bit today. Um, oh, it's starting beautiful. And so I went in at like I think 158. I sold at like 164 to make money or to generate some cash flow, and then did those cash secure puts, brought that money in and back into a smart rent, and I bought at like 150 something. Let's see, it was like 158 or something. So I got lucky, but yeah, I'm back into my position. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got a little alert saying that my connection was unstable. I don't know why, because I have done nothing. My kid just went to school, so it's not him. It could have been one of those things that just the signal just went weak. I don't know. I don't know, my friends. QSI. QSI is down 3% today. I was telling you guys about QSI when it was like $1. It's 165 now, guys. That's all I got to say about that. So, if you guys are like, hey, man, there's a little company. I don't have a lot of money to invest. I don't want to really. I don't have $1,000. I get paid a little bit, and I like saving money, and like I don't really want to take a big chunk of my money and invest. I want to start with a little bit. Look, if you buy 100 shares of QSI, you have $164, $165 to spare. Not a bad way to start a position, right? Start your journey, your investment journey with 100 shares of QSI. It's sitting at 164 right now. Smart Rent sitting at 161, 162 right now. 161, 162 bucks could begin your journey today, guys. Nano Dimension, same thing. It's at 159 right now. Nano Dimension was like 127, 120 when I was talking about it. And so or like 130. So it's so low right now. I just it's one of those companies that it's not really that expensive, and it's kind of a good way to get your foot in the door and see how like the stock market moves, how the stocks move. And then if your stock goes up a couple of bucks, try a cover call, and see how that works, and start with one, and then get paid to own the stock. Get paid, let your stock pay you rent, right? Your portfolio is your a building that you own. You're the landlord, and the stocks are your tenants. Have them pay rent. you know um let's see here. Somebody was talking about GFAI during the weekend, and it's up 11-12% today. So kudos to you who was talking about GFAI, man. Um, Look at this. The trading desk is nice. Is doing nicely right now. The trading desk was around 43 bucks last week. It's 47.37 right now. Good to know. Um, Sentinel One, guys. I'm telling you, those $18 cash secure puts expire in December, man. Not a bad way to start a position on Sentinel One. Navita Semiconductor NVTS. It's $7 right now. It was down 3.5-4% this morning. If you would have written some $7 cash secure puts out to December, those would have brought you $1.35 today. They could still bring you $135. So $7 cash secure puts, 135 right now. Not terrible. Not almost 20%. Your return on investment to start a position on NVTS, which I think it's not a bad company at all. Figma is down a bit today. It's down 3%. QBTS, D-Wave Quantum. I was talking about it. It was 14 bucks. $14-15. It's $27 now, my friends. Just saying.